I am doing something a little bit different. So you guys might be like, what's going on right now? What I'm actually going to start doing in the mornings, you guys, is it's going to be the same time every morning. I'm going to start a master your mindset. We're just going to do this every morning. We're going to go through different things that will set you on the right path for your day. Something that I see with a lot of people that are trying to be successful at anything, it's not even just business, but they're just trying to be better versions of themselves. What I see is that they have a rough time being consistent with that, right? And so if I'm able to help you guys be consistent with being the best version of yourself possible, then that by proxy is going to make your life better. Your confidence is going to go up. You're going to believe that you can do things. And then all of a sudden, everything changes for you. And so that is now my commitment to you guys every morning, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be Master Your Mind with Martha. Okay, so this is the first episode of that. And you guys, here is what I want to tell you, like kind of the catalyst for it. Whenever I look at people that are successful, period, but in business specifically, since that's what I help people do, create income streams, right? Create scale income streams. Whenever I see people that are successful at that, and then the people that are not, which is a majority of people are not, and that's just in the world as a whole, and then there's some that are, and then I look at that and I'm like, what's the difference here? And the difference is very simple. Very simple. It's belief. The people that are successful are the people that sit there and say to you, I'm going to do this. Well, but what about, I'm going to figure it out. Well, what about, no, I'm going to do this. That's the difference, okay? The people that aren't successful are the people that whenever other people say to them, well, what about, they get like, oh, yeah, I don't know. Oh, you might be right. Okay, maybe I can't do that. Here's the deal, guys. People are always going to say, well, what about this? What about this? And what about this? And what about this? And how about we reframe that? How about instead, whenever people say, well, what about? We just get curious. We allow it to make us better. Okay, well, what about, all right, well, let me find out an answer for that question. Let me tell you what I would do in that instance, right? Instead of, oh, you're right, maybe I shouldn't. Instead, what you have to do, you guys, from a mindset standpoint, when somebody says, what about to you, you have to own your vision so much that you live inside of your vision, and a what about question, what if this happens and what if that happens, instead of it deflating you, which probably, let me just sidetrack here, what people are asking you probably isn't even meant to deflate you. It's probably meant to help you. It's probably meant just so you are thinking of all the things, okay? So whenever somebody says something like that to us, how about instead we live inside our vision, we see what is possible, we choose what our reality is going to be, and when somebody asks us questions, we say, oh, this is great, I'm so glad you're asking. Because now if that were to happen, I have my go-to. You guys, there's something that I've talked about for years, and it's basically having your game plan that then you can shove under the bed. Now, what I mean by that is, what we should think about is everything that could go wrong. We don't live in it. I'm not saying live in everything that could go wrong, because then it will all go wrong. It's just, that's how it goes. But we think of everything that could go wrong, and that's usually whatabouts. That's usually what those are. They live in that space, right? Well, what about this? What if this happens? Okay, we think of everything that could go wrong, and then what we do, you could even get your own notebook for it. Okay, guys? You could even get your own notebook just for, like, maybe call it the emergency notebook. If everything goes to a bad place in a handbasket, pull out the notebook. because that is your DIY, that's your fixer, okay? Because what you do is you think, okay, well, if this happens, then I'll do this. And you think it out and you're very realistic about it. Okay, well, if this happens, then I'll have to do this. Okay, now you've got it addressed. So here's the deal. It no longer has to live in here. When it lives in here, you guys, this is where you get paralyzed. When it lives in here, you live every single day, day in and day out with the what ifs. What if this terrible thing happens? Well, what if this terrible thing happens? And you keep it all up here, and then you start living it out. You live in defense of this thing that you are afraid of happening, and then all of a sudden, it starts actually happening in your world. You have to get it out of here onto paper, shove it under the bed or in a drawer, out of sight, out of mind, but you know that you have a solution. And so you don't have to worry about it because, hey, listen, I have a solution. I said I would do this thing. Let me get it on paper, get it away from me, and now you can move forward in confidence. Do you know how much more confident you will be in whatever it is that you're trying to do whenever you've got the what ifs solved for? And so again, what I'm talking about, whenever I say I'm going to start these things every single day, the reason why, guys, is because the lowest common denominator of people that are unsuccessful in life, period, whether it's business or not, doesn't matter, is that they lack belief. And it's not that you didn't have belief once for a brief shining moment and that you don't circle back to it every once in a while, but it's that you don't have consistent belief in what you're doing, in where you're going, and that you're capable of making it happen. Okay, guys? So my challenge to you today is to think of worst case scenarios. First of all, get a notebook. I will always tell you to get a notebook, by the way. So get a notebook, think of worst case scenarios of what could happen with your business, of what could happen with whatever in life. It's just your worst case scenario notebook. You're purging your fears. You get to purge them out of your body. So now I want you to put your worst case scenarios in a notebook, how you would solve for them. And I want you to come back to this video and I want you to tell me how you feel after you do that. I love you guys. Popping out of here. Bye-bye.